only industry in America that can't be held accountable for the harm that they cause. Let's think about that. That's not justice. That's a broken system. Because while the gun industry cashes in, black and brown communities in Michigan are disproportionately paying the price. So we need to sustain and grow investment in local community violence intervention leaders who do life-saving work in their communities every single day. These are the solutions that we know will save lives. And we're going to keep fighting for those solutions together. 12 years in, we know how to do the work. We know how to win, and we're not going to let up. And we're not stopping until every single person can learn, can play, can shop, can pray, and simply exist without the constant threat of gun violence. Now, real change, the kind that saves lives, doesn't just happen. It takes people like you. And it takes leaders who refuse to sit on the sidelines. Leaders like the one that I'm about to bring to the stage, y'all. This governor, she doesn't flinch when it comes to fighting for us. She's been signing gun safety bills left and right while others were too scared to stand up for public safety. She's made Michigan a national leader in gun safety. She's done it with grit, with grace, and a whole lot of fight. So please join me in welcoming a true champion for gun safety, a fearless advocate for Michigan families, and the best hype woman a movement could ask for. And also, I secretly have a crush on her. Admitting that. Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
When we show up, we can make the change that we want to see, and your energy makes it real. So show some more energy, my friends. This is what democracy looks like. This is how we move forward together. This is how we get shit done. So we're all here because gun violence is a uniquely American problem. In this country, and only in this country, guns are the #1 killer of young people. Let it sink in. It's not car accidents, it's not cancer, it's guns. In 2022, 2,526 children and teens died by a firearm. That's 7 a day. Each one of them was someone with dreams and hopes, with loved ones, with the rest of their life ahead of them. Here in Michigan, we know this pain too well. We remember Oxford, and I see an Oxford mom over here. And Michigan State is not distant tragedies, but is heartbreaks that are close to home. And last week, we were reminded of our own tragedies by the one at Florida State University. Let's take a moment of silence for the victims, their families, and all those affected. And let's remember, every time we see violence like this play out, it is reopening the wounds of people who've had lifetime trauma. People who are on campus or worried about someone on campuses. People who lost a loved one or were hurt by gun violence. So many people have grown numb to this problem. Gun violence touches our daily lives in ways we could never have imagined. It dictates our routines, changes how we gather, destroys our sense of security. We shouldn't have to double check exit routes when we go to the movies. We shouldn't have to second guess attending a concert, or just going and doing the grocery shopping. Dropping your child off at school or watching them step onto the bus should not leave you with a pit in your stomach. We shouldn't have to live like this, and yet we are. Offering thoughts and prayers is not and will never be enough. Thoughts and prayers don't save lives, but action does. And action is what we are all about here in Michigan. We didn't wait around for Washington, D.C. to lead us in the right direction. Instead, this movement was powered by people, by students, by those of us who are fed up and tired of watching gun violence ravage our communities and our homes and our school districts and our neighborhoods. We owe it to victims, survivors, parents, teachers, and students to end this epidemic. So today, let me highlight just a few things that we've done to protect public safety and reduce gun violence. Through programs like Operation Safe Neighborhoods, we've made it a top priority to crack down on illegal guns and hold repeat violent offenders accountable. As of February, the Michigan State Police removed more than 800 illegal firearms off the streets. Now that's 800 weapons that could have ended up in the wrong hands. During these sweeps, officers also recovered illegal drugs and ammo, keeping more threats off of our streets. And as we enter the summer, when historical trends suggest that gun violence escalates, initiatives like Operation Safe Neighborhoods continue to be critical. Over the last few years, I've signed common sense gun violence prevention bills into law to save lives and keep Michiganders safe. Universal background checks for all firearms. Safe storage for firearms and ammo at home. Stronger penalties to keep those convicted of violent domestic abuse from owning a firearm for at least 8 years. Extreme risk protection orders or red flag laws that allow police officers, healthcare professionals, or family members to seek a court order to temporarily confiscate a firearm from someone who is a danger to themselves or others. These orders have been used even by people who were vocally critical of the measure, now recognize how important this is. Multiple state budgets making record investments on campus safety because schools should be about learning. And last year we established Michigan's first ever gun violence prevention task force to suggest new policies to save lives. The report just came out and I'm looking forward to reviewing it closely so we can see what the next steps are that make sense for Michigan and to keep Michiganders safe. We're already seeing positive impacts from this good work. We've seen a major decrease in violent crime. Michigan has reached its lowest overall crime rate since 2015. That's great news. And more students are feeling empowered and comfortable speaking up. In 2023, OK to Say, school incident hotline had almost 10,000 tips compared to 5,700 received in 2019. So when there's a looming threat of violence, people feel it. In their neighborhoods, in their schools, in their homes. Our responsibility is to take action so everyone can feel safe and be safe. So together we're making a real difference. But we know our work is not done. Every shooting, every life lost, every community grieving demands not just our attention and thoughts and prayers, but our action. I stand ready to work with you and anyone who wants to protect public safety, reduce gun violence, because this is about partnership, not partisanship. It is about people. Together, we have shown we are capable to meeting the challenge, taking action, and that is what we will continue to do. No matter who is occupying seats around decision-making tables, the voices of the people matter. The voices of the people can make the change. Now is not a time to stay home and pull the covers over our heads. It is time to engage, to fight, and to make sure we lock arms and continue this work. I thank all the moms and all the incredible people who have come together to get us to this moment. Let's continue to do this work together. Thank you.
go this way, Tabitha. You going back around? Gotta go around. You can't go around. You can't take that here. You gotta go all the way around.
Thank you again, Governor. Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca. I'm so glad you all are here. I'm a sophomore currently at Rochester Christian University and a volunteer leader with Students Demand Action, the nation's largest youth-led gun violence prevention organization. I joined the movement to end gun violence about 4 years ago, and while advocacy has become a huge part of me, I'm a proud Michigander first. I was born and raised here. This is my home. I graduated from Oxford High School. Yes, Oxford. As in Oxford High School, where a gunman shot and killed 4 of my classmates. He wounded 6 others and a teacher, and he traumatized my entire community. I remember it like it was yesterday. I walked down the hallway to my classroom like I always did, every single day, 5 times a week. But this time, I heard and then saw the commotion at the end of the hallway, right where my class was. But before I could fully comprehend what was happening, the sounds of rapid gunfire went off. The sounds I'll now never, ever be able to unhear. I don't need to share what happened next, mostly because I don't want to relive one of the worst days of my life. But I also bet most of the people here either know or have a pretty good idea of what experiencing a school shooting is like. Whether you've personally experienced it like me, or have friends who went through it, or have done active shooter drills in class, or have seen excruciating videos online, this is the nightmare situation we're forced to prepare for our entire lives. The shooting at my high school was so deadly because the gunman used a semi-automatic firearm made by Sig Sauer. The reality is firearms are becoming more and more deadly, and that's not by accident. Companies like Sig Sauer are complicit in America's gun violence crisis because they are intentionally making their weapons more deadly, marketing their guns to kids, and doing business with gun sellers who knowingly skirt the law. I want to be very clear. We fail in our fight to end gun violence if we don't look at the bigger picture. It's not just the gun, it's not just the shooter. It is an entire gun industry that is making gun violence worse in America. And the sickest part of it all is they're getting paid to do it. More fear of gun violence leads to more sales. The more sales they make, the higher their profits go up. The gun industry is literally profiting off of victims and survivors of gun violence. They're profiting off of our safety, and if that's not corruption at its finest, I don't know what is. There you go. Which is why we hold them accountable. We hold other industries responsible for their neglected practices. Why would this be any different? I stand here to represent the voices of a generation that has grown up scanning for exits, flinching over loud noises, and texting our parents we love them before heading into school just in case. We don't want to live this way anymore, and we're calling on our Michigan lawmakers to stand with us, to hold the gun industry accountable for their role in America's gun violence crisis, for creating a nation of survivors. Survivors like me. Speaking of lawmakers, it's my privilege to now introduce Gun Sense champion and Michigan House Minority Leader, Representative Curie. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Rajiv Puri. I'm the Democratic leader in the Michigan House and proud Gun Sense supporter. Now, I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd today, and you all continue to show up and repeatedly demand that action be taken to combat senseless gun violence. Year after year, you remain committed to this fight despite the exhaustion by inaction by so many of your Republican elected officials. Now, it was a shooting at the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin, my family's former place of worship, that shattered my sense of safety and called me to public service. But this sense of safety has been lost for far too many. It's not just me. I also want to uplift the voice of our most precious resource, Michigan's youth. I'm the father to 3 small boys, and being a father, looking in your innocent son's eyes and explaining to him what an active shooter drill is and and why they need to hide in the closet and be scared to go to school is a conversation that no parent ever wants to have. Guns are now the leading cause of death in children, more than accidents and cancer. Our schools in Michigan are at risk. Our students, our children have had the unimaginable misfortune of enduring not one, but 2 mass shootings in their young lives. And they pursued the American dream, seeking knowledge, opportunity, and a better future. And they were instead met with bullets and bloodshed. From the tragedy of the Oxford High School shooting to the horrific incident and shooting at Michigan State University, no student should have to choose between their safety and their education. But these aren't just stories on the news, they are lives. Their families shattered in a moment. Every time we lose another life to gun violence, in East Lansing, in Detroit, in Grand Rapids, or Oxford, it's not just a statistic. It's a seat left empty at the dinner table, a child who won't make it to graduation, a mother who won't come home from work. And to that, we say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Thank you. But common sense gun legislation isn't about taking away anyone's rights. It's about protecting the rights that we have to live. Our right to go to school, to a movie theater, to your place of worship, and not be gunned down. Now that is a basic right. That is a human right. And if we can't guarantee that in Michigan, then what the hell are we even doing?
Yes! Yes!
Last term, I sponsored legislation to enact red flag laws in the state of Michigan. We passed that legislation, as we've heard today, alongside mandating safe storage and background checks. And now Republicans in control of the House are seeking to repeal these laws. You cannot claim to care about families while repealing laws that are literally meant to keep them alive.
Yes!
When Republicans in the House seek to repeal life-saving gun laws, they are not listening to the people, they're listening to gun lobbyists, and we won't stand for it. We've made progress, but progress isn't permanent. It's not unless we defend it, not unless we vote, we organize, and we keep showing up and demanding to hold these lawmakers accountable, and let's do just that. Thank you, everyone.
All right, well, I'm Andy Shore. I'm the mayor here in Lansing. First, thank you. I'm not only a mayor, but I'm a husband, and I can tell you, my wife's got that shirt, she's got the sign, she is a mom that demands action.
Yeah.
In 8 years I've been mayor, I can tell you this is one of the most personal issues for me. I love what our legislature is doing, and I love being a part of the discussion and debate. What I hate is making that call. What I hate is calling a mom and dad and telling them, I'm sorry. I hate having to apologize. I hate telling them our cops are going to get to the bottom of this. I hate going to funerals, and there's too many. It's too much. We deal with this too often. And mayors are sick and tired of it. We are sick and tired of it, just like everyone behind me, just like our legislators. We're fed up. I am proud to serve as one of the 4 co-chairs nationally for the National Advisory Board for Mayors Against Illegal Guns. I'm gonna say that again. Mayors Against Illegal Guns.
Yes.
This is about guns that shouldn't be in the hands of these people. They shouldn't be. We need more tools. When I look at ghost guns, you've heard about it. When I look at ghost guns, we need the ability to prevent ghost guns. We need the ability to go after irresponsible gun owners. You leave your gun in your glove box and someone breaks in and uses it to kill someone, you are responsible. Responsibility. This is what you hear time and again, Democrat and Republican. Responsibility. This is what we have to care about. We are coming together all across the country. Mayors from every one of these folks' towns, from every town across the country. We are demanding things like bans on ghost guns, bans on bump stocks, holding people accountable, holding manufacturers accountable, taking a look and see who is the problem and how do we go after it. That's what's supposed to be done at the state and the federal level. And you heard the governor say it, our crime is down, and that's a good thing. We have a violent crime initiative, which is a partnership with the state. You heard about the state's efforts. You heard of all the county and all the different efforts. We take 500-600 guns off the street. Now, can you imagine 500 or 600 more illegal guns? We're taking them off the street. We shouldn't have to, but we will. We'll continue to do that. And I appreciate our state's support. I appreciate what Representative just said. I appreciate all the laws that we have, the tools. But we need more. We need the federal government to step in. We need the state to be part of this. We are going to work together, and we're going to continue to make a difference in every one of these communities. And we're going to continue to take the heat on the local level, because that's what mayors do. But I can tell you this, we are going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to protect our communities. And with the help of all these folks back here, I tell everybody, grassroots is the way you get things done. And when you all tell your legislators we need more help, that's when we get it. Thank you, everybody.
I can tell you that comes from Mayor George's heart, because he and I were stuck in an airport on the way for 8 hours one night, coming home from Washington, D.C., and we had this same conversation. There's a myth going around that gun owners don't care about gun violence. I'm here to dispel your myth. I'm honored to be standing here today as a responsible gun owner, standing with all of you, surrounded by people committed to prevent gun violence here in Michigan. I want to tell you that showing up here together today is a victory in and of itself. Look at all of these coalitions and all of these people standing for one true thing. And that's that we can all simply agree we'd like less people to get shot.
Yes.
Now, there are forces that seek to divide us, to make us fight amongst ourselves, and to keep us from seeing the bigger picture. But we all share one undeniable truth. Too many of our children are dying. Too many of our brothers are dying. Too many of our sisters are dying. And we're all here to say loud and clear that we have had enough. Together, we've made real progress. In 2023, Michigan passed laws that can stop convicted domestic abusers from buying guns.
I know, we were just talking about you because
we closed loopholes by requiring universal background checks. We prioritized the safe storage of firearms because protecting children and protecting the Second Amendment are not mutually exclusive. We also passed extreme risk protection order laws, allowing families and law enforcement to intervene before a tragedy happens. I am the survivor of 3 of those tragedies. And now that law is under attack here in Lansing. And we must stand up and defend it.
Yes.
In 2024, we kept going. We didn't stop. We passed bills to keep guns out of kids' hands, invest in community violence intervention, and close dangerous gaps that left victims vulnerable. But are we done yet?
No!
While I love seeing everybody's face here today, and a lot of you are my friends, I pray for the day we gather in celebration and not in grief. that we are not here in anger, but to celebrate peace. As a gun owner, I believe in responsibility and accountability. But right now, and my previous speakers have done this, the gun industry enjoys special legal protections that make it nearly impossible for victims to hold bad actors accountable, even when there's clear evidence of wrongdoing. A federal law called the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, or if you'd like to shorten it up, PLACA, grants sweeping immunity to gun manufacturers and dealers. And as you've heard, no other industry has that kind of shield. And it's not fair to victims, and it's not fair to survivors, and it's not fair to their families. We need to fix that. We need to repeal PLACA, changing Michigan law so gun makers and sellers are held accountable like everybody else. Until the law changes, families will keep paying the price for an industry that's putting profit ahead of people. And the consequences go even deeper. Wouldn't you like to be able to vote without being afraid?
Yes.
Our voting places must be free from the threat of armed intimidation. Our government must be able to work without the looming presence of violence. And I will tell you that a lot of gun owners in this state came to this cause when we saw people storming Lansing, walking into the legislature to intimidate people, holding long rifles and sidearms. As we lobby today, remembering who we've lost and what we've gained, let's keep pushing forward. We've accomplished so much, but Michigan deserves better. We deserve to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you to everybody for joining us. I am State Senator Winnie Briggs. I am proud to serve as Senate Majority Leader. And let me start with this. As long as I am Senate Majority Leader, we will not be repealing any of the laws to make the progress that we made last year. We gather here on the Capitol steps again almost exactly 2 years since so many of you came out to call on your leaders to take action in the wake of the horrific mass shooting at Michigan State University. We gather here again today to honor the lives lost to senseless gun violence in Michigan. Friends, family, and colleagues, students, children, and classmates, moms, dads, brothers, sisters. We gather here again today to speak to the improvements we've implemented to make Michigan a safer place to call home for everyone. And we gather here again today to honor the lives that we've lost by calling on the gun industry to finally put people over profits and to take accountability for the fundamental role they play in our nation's gun violence epidemic. Everyone deserves to live in a safe, healthy community that is free from the ever-present, looming threat of gun violence. And while we have so much more work to do, the Michigan legislature passed historic gun safety laws in 2023, thanks to the courageous voices and advocacy efforts of the people here in this crowd. Thank you. And our laws are working. We implemented a red flag law that allows law enforcement to keep firearms out of the hands of people who have demonstrated that they are a threat to themselves or others. This is a proactive approach that allows for intervention before tragedy strikes. Thanks to these extreme risk protection orders, firearms were removed from the homes of 287 people who posed a safety risk. Those include the home of a 10-year-old who had threatened violence against his classmates, a law enforcement officer experiencing a mental health crisis, a husband threatening to kill his wife amid a separation, and so many other painful situations like those. Although our red marriage and universal background check laws have all made a real difference in tackling gun violence in our state. We must continue working together in this fight because it is far from over. Yes. We must continue to honor the lives lost to gun violence by doing everything we can to prevent further tragedy. We must honor them by holding the gun industry accountable for the irrevocable damage that they have quite literally manufactured across our state and our country. We must use our grief and our anger to fuel our path to a better, safer future. We can and we must do better for our friends, family, and colleagues, for our students, children, and classmates, for our moms, dads, brothers, and sisters, and for each other. So, thank you. Our work is not done, and we are here with you in the fight. Thank you. And now I would like to turn it over to Faith Brown, a survivor of gun violence and an advocate with End Gun Violence Michigan.
Good morning. My name is Faith Brown, and I am a survivor of domestic violence. Domestic abusers kill 100 people every year in Michigan, most often with a gun. My husband abused me and our children, and I finally decided it was time to leave. I served him with divorce papers and was looking forward to getting my life back. Then, on September 21st, 2016, about 8.5 years ago, I came home and he was there waiting for me. He killed our 4 children in front of me.
Wow.
He shot me, cut me with a knife, and left me for dead. What was so chilling was how calm he was. He wasn't angry, he didn't yell, he just did it. I remember waking up in the hospital. A social worker gave me a folder with resources to try to help me put my life back together. I still have that folder. There was a flyer there for our local domestic violence program, First Step. When I was ready, I began to attend counseling there. At some point, I decided that I needed to live again. It was what my children would have wanted. First Step helped me dig myself out of an incredibly deep hole. Now, I am a volunteer and an advocate for other domestic violence survivors. Nothing can bring back my children, but I can do everything in my power to make sure no other woman, no other family has to go through what I did. No one else should have to lose what I lost. So now I go out into my community, and educate young people about domestic violence. When I was younger, no one really ever talked about domestic violence, and certainly no one ever taught me where I could go to get help. Just the other week, a young woman took me aside and thanked me. She told me that I had inspired her to leave her abusive relationship and to get help that she needed. I felt so proud of her and proud of myself. I'm here today because domestic violence programs and shelters save lives. We know that. And these organizations are on the front line of the fight against gun violence. Last year, the legislature and Governor Whitmer made new laws to protect survivors. The Extreme Risk Protection Order law allows guns to be taken away from the abusers before they have a chance to use it on us. The new domestic violence gun laws keep guns out of the hands of convicted abusers for 7 years. That is great progress. Thank you, Governor Whitmer. Thank you to our legislators for listening to survivors. But the work is not yet done. Our domestic violence shelters are the organizations that help survivors use these new laws. Those shelters are in danger because they are losing tens of millions of dollars in federal funding. They will have to lay off staff, end programs, and some shelters may even close. Who would help survivors fill out their personal protection orders? Who would tell them what an extreme risk protection order even is, let alone how to file one? How would they know that their abuser guns can be taken away if he's convicted? Where will they go to be safe? In the next state budget, we need $75 million for our domestic violence shelters and sexual assault programs. Like First Step. These new gun laws will not protect survivors if our domestic violence programs close their doors. So I'm telling you to call. So I'm calling on all of you here today. Go meet with your senator, your representative, and tell them 75 saves lives. And I just want you guys to say that with me now. 75 saves lives. 75 saves lives. 75 saves lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Faye.
Thank you again, Faith, for sharing your photo. We're going to take a big group photo, so if everyone will just smile in a second, and then I'll come back. So if you guys want to take a picture. Okay, everyone smile. Thank you guys all for coming. Members of the press, if you have follow-up questions, Isabel is over there and she'll direct you to speak with survivors if you would wish to. Thank you all again for your time and safe travels home. Students standing up there, will you stay here? If you are a student, stay here. Everybody good? Thank you.